There is an air of mystery and wonder when it comes to Forbidden Memories, with even the title sparking immediate intrigue. Forbidden Memories finds itself in a state of transition in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!, borrowing elements from the Bandai game, the first season of the anime, and even bringing some of its own mechanics to the table. And I think mechanics are an excellent place to start when talking about the game. Similar to the Duelist Kingdom rules, you can normal summon any monster without tribute. Every monster is a normal monster, so you don't have to worry about effects. Oddly enough, you can set a monster, or even put one into face-down attack position. That brings back memories. There are a few more game rules, like drawing till 5 cards in hand each turn, like Rush Duels, and being limited to play only 1 card per turn at times. I want to double back a bit and talk about Guardian Stars though. Arguably the game's most striking feature. Yes, astrology in Yu-Gi-Oh! Instead of attributes, monsters are grouped based on astrological signs, with each monster belonging to 2 signs. You can select which Guardian Star protects the monster on summon, with each sign having advantages and disadvantages amongst each other. This adds a level of strategy and can give you an edge in battle. I just want to read out loud what the wiki has to say about how monsters are categorized under Guardian Stars. Mercury typically represents dark spellcasters and dark warriors. Sun typically represents light monsters such as fairies. Moon typically represents dark monsters such as fiends and zombies. Venus typically represents illusory monsters. Most of them are spellcasters, fiends, or fairies. Mars typically represents fire monsters. Jupiter typically represents forest creatures, such as beast warriors, insects, and plants. Saturn typically represents wind monsters. Uranus typically represents rock monsters and earth warriors. Pluto typically represents machines and thunder-type monsters. Neptune typically represents water monsters. Ah yes, such a simple and intuitive system. Fusion summoning works in a weird way too. 2 cards are selected, then fused. There is quite a lot of rules on what type of fusion materials end up working together. If one of the fusion materials is stronger than all possible fusion monsters, the fusion will fail. Emphasis on all possible monsters, because like the anime, you can attempt to fuse pretty much anything, and a lot of them will end up with stronger monsters. Sometimes this is based on certain type combinations. For instance, a pyro and an animal create Flame Cerberus, or a jar and a dark spellcaster make Ushioni, which has the effect of making the card's flavor text feel a lot more appropriate. I said animal type earlier, and although all the monster typing from the Duel Monsters era exists in the game, there are various other typing and attributes that the game looks at when determining which fusion monster to make, or even deciding whether or not your equip card suits the monster. You can see this in the Bandai game as well, with Cyber Shield indicating a female-like monster as a target. The Bandai game can feel a lot like Munchkin, where rules disputes are settled over bouts of bickering. Nuh-uh, Kairyushin is totally female. At least in the digital world, there are no quarrels, although the results are often baffling. There is a lot more depth in the fusion mechanics, and I will be leaving a link to a more comprehensive guide in the description. Now, if it just takes 2 monsters to make a fusion monster, how does ritual summoning work? Rituals require a specific ritual spell, which is blue for some reason, and unlike the main game, where the total star threshold needs to be met or exceeded to ritual summon a monster, the ritual monsters in the game have specific materials. For example, Mask of Shine and Dark requires the ritual spell Construct of Mask, Mask of Darkness, Masked Clown, and Masked Sorcerer, which is way too much work. And is such a ridiculous waste, as Mask of Shine and Dark has such a cool artwork. The same goes for Psycho Puppet, and it would be wonderful to have these cards find their way into the TCG, if for nothing else, to provide higher resolution artwork. Bottom line is fusion summoning is for monsters with 2 materials, and ritual summoning is for chumps. I think it is time to look at the ways Forbidden Memories shape the TCG, specifically how cards stack up. Sparks is made even more useless, inflicting just 50 points of direct damage. So burn is not so good. What about life point gain? Here is Daienkito Cure Master. Any guesses on how many life points it heals? 50? 500? 1,000 like in the TCG? Try 5,000 life points. I think the card might actually be worth considering at that point. Now, since Sparks is so powerful, there's a trap card that reflects burn damage, Goblin Fan, which makes both more sense with the card's artwork and is a lot better than the video game promotional card in my opinion. On that note, Zoa and Metal Zoa are still bad, but you do not have to run Metal Zoa in the main deck at least. Metalmorph is no longer a buff card, just a transformation card. Another series of cards which found its way into early TCG sets were the Type Equip cards. Machine Conversion Factory for machines, Beast Fangs for beasts, Book of Secret Arts for spellcasters, Dark Energy for fiends, Dragon Treasure for dragons, Electro Whip for thunder, Follow Wind for winged beast, Laser Cannon Armor for insect, Legendary Sword for warriors, Insect Moon for beast warriors, Power of Kaishin for aquas, Raise Body Heat for dinosaurs, Silver Bow and Arrow for fairy, Vile Germs for plants, and Violet Crystal for zombie. I guess no one cares about rock or pyro type monsters. As a kid, I tried to collect all of these cards, assuming that there was one for each type, but reality is often disappointing. Other iconic mass destruction cards like Raigeki and Harpy's Feather Duster debuted in the game as well, but I am more interested in some of the unique type hosing cards. Acid Rain destroys machine, Breath of Life destroys rocks, Eradicating Aerosol destroys insects, Eternal Drought destroys fish, Exile of the Wicked destroys fiends, Last Day of Witch destroys spellcasters, Warrior Elimination destroys warriors, and the card which has not yet gotten a TCG released is Sun Shower, which destroys zombies. I just think that this set of mass destruction cards are unique and interesting, and maybe even good side deck tech cards once in a blue moon. Moving on from the mechanical overview, I pose the question, is Forbidden Memories worth playing now? And the answer is a resounding yes! Followed by a timid maybe. The game is wacky in all the best ways, and just filled with some of the most interesting and macabre artwork in the game. Not to mention the stellar music, which I have been showcasing all video. And I just want to give a moment to let the music really shine. Excellent work by Naoko Ishii, Waichiro Ozaki, and Hiroshi Tanaba. Beyond the impact on the TCG, Forbidden Memories' legacy might be the speedrunning community, as the speedrun is very technical with advanced techniques like RNG manipulation. It is fascinating to see the game run at a high level in either the RNG or no RNG manipulation categories, and I strongly recommend watching the commented world record videos. Overall, I think the game is worth remembering, if for nothing else, as a weird evolutionary offshoot from the primordial Yugioh. And, although often overlooked, the game has definitely not been forgotten. I am looking forward to returning to these unusual mechanics with Duelist of the Roses next year.